Good afternoon. Y'all sound so beautiful. Well, welcome to Austin Community College, our beautiful Eastview campus. So glad that you joined us this afternoon for this amazing event. One of the things that I want you to know is that this is a special recording. We wanted the opportunity to be able to hear from students that have an experience at St. Edward's University, but also what does it mean for our students to start thinking about what it means to transfer and transition to a school that has so many great opportunities, that have worked and lived and breathed what we believe in our values at ACC, and we want our students to be able to have that same experience as they move on to their transfer opportunities, they get that bachelor's degree, so forth and so on. That sound like a plan? Okay, I can't hear you. That sound like a plan? All right, good. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Dr. Shasta Buchanan. I'm Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs here at Austin Community College. So good to see some friends out there in the audience. We are gonna get started. I just wanna let you know that you can't walk away, students, because we have some concurrent sessions. Oh, and by the way, we still have some more food. There are concurrent sessions happening after the filming where you can learn about applying to St. Edward's, paying for college. They have some amazing scholarship opportunities where they make going, that's right, give it a hand clap. Where they make attending St. Edward's more than just affordable, but for your family and for yourself to feel like you got an amazing education at a great price, but you are gonna be able to do so many things in the next chapter of your life. And also just all the things about what does it mean to live on campus. I had the great opportunity to live on campus when I went off to the four-year institution, and I know the fun I had living on campus and the entire experience. We'll save that story for another day. So I wanna make sure that you hear all those wonderful things and have an amazing time this afternoon. I'm going to turn it over to the person that hates for me to call him Dr. Lowry Hart, but today I want to because he's that special. He's our Chancellor for Austin Community College District, Dr. Russell Lowry Hart.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you to our colleagues both at ACC and St. Ed's for working diligently to make today happen. It's the beginning of a new, more intentional partnership between our institutions. This will be one of many opportunities for us to integrate and build together. So thank you all for coming and celebrating this partnership, and thank our students for being here and the students that are watching and listening online. I would be remiss if I didn't start by very directly thanking Dr. Buchanan and her entire team. If I need something magical to happen, I call Shasta and she makes it happen. So thank you for your partnership and your leadership. Today's about creating clear, affordable, and supportive pathways to a four-year degree. In an era where affordability is one of the biggest issues that our students at ACC are facing, one of the reasons we want to promote this particular partnership is because St. Ed's offers affordable pathways with support that our students need and want. So you have an opportunity now as an ACC student to start here while you're living and learning at St. Ed's in their residence halls, and make sure that you earn a bachelor's degree at the end of your time at ACC. But the best part about today is hearing directly from our students. Their stories remind us why this partnership matters, and I'm anxious to learn from and with them. And for us to get that kicked off, I get to introduce my partner in crime, my really good friend, and someone who inspires all of us, the president of St. Ed's, Dr. Fuentes.
Thank you, Austin Community College, for having St. Edward's here with you as the beginning of a great partnership. St. Edward's is here today, and we are so proud to partner with Austin Community College to ensure that we expand the opportunities for transfer students to get access to an education that is really going to transform their lives, with a clear focus on affordability, offering great opportunities for housing, and a streamlined academic pathway to make sure that we focus on the completion of the bachelor's degrees. But Austin Community College and St. Edward's, they have so much more in common. We are dedicated to building communities of love, where every student is valued, is appreciated, is supported, and we help them to thrive. St. Edward's, as a private institution, is focused on meeting each student where they are, ensuring that they have all the support for success. We have a 12-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. And that's the meaning of a private education. It's not trying to be a elite institution. It's affordable. It's a community for all, where we focus on the different backgrounds and experiences that all our students bring to campus, because that enriches the learning experience of all our students. We certainly focus on academic excellence. That's what has led to the great recognition and rankings that the university holds right now, being number 5 by the US News and World Report in the West. But what is most important is that dedication to ensure that we are educating the minds, the hearts, and the hands of our students. All our students, they have access to great opportunities for experiential learning, for career development. And I do want to emphasize that they stay with us and they graduate. Just last year, we have 100% retention of all our students coming from ACC because they feel at home from day one. And we want to grow that partnership. We want to make sure ACC, St. Edward's is your university, is your home. And now with Accomplice as St. Edward's, we are going to bring more opportunities to get access to support, financial support, access to great housing, to be part of a wonderful community devoted to you, and also opportunities to make sure that what you have learned at ACC is valued and appreciated, and it counts towards your degree by having different accelerated pathways for all of you. And excited to start this journey and to make sure that we continue to work together to transform lives through an education that is the result of this great partnership between St. Edward's University and ACC.
Awesome.
Our students, that's what we are here for. So please, will you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Michaela Monroe. I was a former student at Austin Community College. I'll actually be graduating ACC in December, but I also, thank you. I also am a transfer student into St. Edward's University. I just started my junior year here. It's been wonderful. I am a non-traditional student, but I live on campus, so far I have a wonderful time there.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Leslie Galvan. I transferred from ACC to SCU in the year 2023. I recently just graduated May from SCU. And I'm so happy to be here to share with you guys my experience.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ricardo Lafranc Pirantosi. I'm known by Ricky. I was at ACC from 2017 to 2019, and then I was at St. Edward's from 2020 to 2024. So I did 7 years in college. And one of the things that I appreciated and I liked about my journey was all the connections and friends I made along the way.
Fantastic. So we want to learn a little bit more about your journeys. And I'm going to start with you, Ricky. When you transfer to a different institution, can always be maybe exciting, but also it brings a little bit of uncertainty and potentially anxiety. And many institutions are not ready to support students that come maybe from different pathways. So we want to learn a little bit more about your experience. How was it for you when you transferred from ACC to St. Edward's? Could you share a little bit that journey with us?
Of course, yes. So at the time, if you caught on those years, I got accepted to attend fall of 2020, which felt like 40 years ago because we were suffering through the pandemic. So I actually never got to set foot on campus until 2022. So those first 2 years was all online, all remote. But that didn't really felt any different from still being and talking to my classmates, to my friends. And it was really surreal because one day I was at ACC Highland and the next thing you know, I'm setting foot on the hilltop. So that was quite the experience.
Can we hear maybe from Michaela, since now it's a little bit different, you just really transferred right, to St. Edward's. Could you share with us how it was maybe for you?
My transfer experience, it was a total breeze. I literally started the transfer process and the application process right after coming off of a spring break trip funded by ACC to Denmark. So when I was looking at schools, I had debated against so many other schools in the Central Texas area and the state of Texas. Yet what stood out to me with SCU was, one, it being right in Austin's backyard, and then two, they were able to take all of my credits from ACC. So I had no issues with transferring anything over, and it was a very smooth transition.
Let's maybe talk about something that I assume is relevant for most of our students, and it's affordability. So maybe, Leslie, can you elaborate about how that maybe was important for you in making your decision where to go on the opportunity to be successful? Could you talk a little bit about affordability and how that maybe mattered to you?
Yes, so especially being a first-gen student, applying to colleges can be absolutely very scary, very confusing. But there is a wonderful team at St. Edward's. The transfer admissions advisors are very helpful since day one. They literally hold my hand through the first day and never let go. Any questions I had, I would email them, and they would also suggest me to other advisors, which made it very smooth, very comfortable, and less scary and confusing.
Thank you, Leslie. Ricky, you want to add to that? Was that something for you important to consider at the time?
Yes, definitely. And at first, when I first saw the St. Edward's bill for that semester, I'm like, golly, okay, this is what it's a lot different than ACC. But I was able to be with the financial aid team. You know, Ani Nahosa at St. Edward's, she was really, really good resource to have. I really appreciate her, and just helping me see what scholarship opportunities were presented to me. And obviously, through my hard work and saving up money, I was able to graduate from St. Edward's with no student loans, with no student debt. So. Which just goes to show that it is possible, like Cesar Chavez said, si se puede. You just have to just get up and just do it.
Well, thank you for that. And I do want to emphasize that it does also take that initiative to explore, to ask, to get more information, because sometimes when you go into a private institution, you're maybe not aware of all the great support that we have, because again, St. Edward's is committed to affordability. So thank you for explaining that. Let's talk a little bit about housing. St. Edward's is on the hilltop. We have the most gorgeous campus and great facilities for our students to stay with us. And that's part of the experience, being connected to a wonderful community. As part of our new partnership, we are offering housing to the students, not only when they transfer to us, but from the beginning of that journey here, when they are at ACC, they can still be with us and start becoming part of that wonderful community. So I'm interested in learning a little bit more about your thoughts, Michaela, with regard to housing. That is something that you would have maybe explored earlier on, or you are right now benefiting from that. Could you talk a little bit about housing for a transfer student?
Of course. As a transfer student, housing was very important to me. It actually was a very strong deciding factor in which school that I chose. So I also had SMU on the list, but I did not want to travel outside of Austin. And so the most affordable schools in the area were either SCU or UT Austin. I heard from too many friends that UT Austin was way too backlogged as far as available housing, and when I saw that SCEU had fully open housing, the application process was easy and very affordable, by the way, SCU was my first choice.
That's wonderful to hear. Housing matters, right? And that's why it's an important component of this partnership.
So most people don't know, my first job out of grad school was teaching at St. Ed's. And so one of the things that I know about SEU is that it's full of people that care deeply, and it's a great place to be a part of. How has SEU shaped your goals and helped you thrive there?
Well, for my goals, SEU really made it affordable and made it possible for me to transfer my business administration degree from Austin Community College. into St. Ed. So at other schools, I may have had a little bit of difficulty, but they literally showed me the entire process of what everything from the course load looks like as an accounting major to what the capstone would look like. They're even showing me what the master's degree program would possibly look like. So it's very comprehensive. They're very transparent about what their program entails and the details of everything. Even as far as internships, I've already had 5 different offers just from being at the school alone, just from the name of the school alone, so they really like you guys. But what's been wonderful is to know that a lot of local businesses really want to work with the school and want to work with the students, especially if you're a business major. So I find it very wonderful to have that opportunity and access.
Leslie?
So aside from the core curriculum and the tremendous support that SCU provides, ACC prepares you to have more of a common sense development, a personal development. So when you do go to a 4-year university, as for me, SCU taught me how to have unlimited, infinite confidence, whether it's in my personal and professional life.
Awesome. So when did you all decide you were going to transfer? Was that something you knew when you started at ACC, or was that something you developed while you were at ACC?
So for me, it took me a 2-year decision. I delayed my process really because of the proximity, the cost, and the choice of school. What made me really decide to choose SCU was a word of mouth, positive recommendation. So just by talking to one of my former classmates, high school classmates, made me really decide that that school was for me.
For me, it was actually back all the way in 2003, right? That was the year I immigrated to the United States from Mexico, and as we were driving, my parents would say that we drove by over 35, we saw the campus on the hilltop, and my mother wished for me to go there one day. And growing up, that was always where I wanted to be at. And to be honest, that journey was very, very difficult. You know, I went to elementary, middle school, high school, learning the language. I originally got rejected from St. Edward's right out of high school, but that didn't really deter me from not going anywhere else. St. Edward's was the school I was going to graduate from one way or another, and you know, I started here and I got there.
Awesome. Fantastic. So at ACC, our vision is loving our students to success, and so it's easy to get connected and belong. How did you find that connection and belonging at SEU?
Ooh, for me, my connection and belonging, it actually started at ACC. So it was Dr. Stokes, or Dean Stokes. She actually was tabling at ACC Highland campus, and when I could see all of the degree plans that were out and available, I looked at where, okay, this is a different, I could tell it was a different type of school in a good way. But what I could also see was the same amount of community that I had at Austin Community College. I also had a good feeling about possibly finding that same level of community at SCU, and I would say match for match, it's been equal across the board.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
So for me, as soon as I stepped foot, even as a high school visitor at SCU, I knew that that school was for me. You just have that sense of belonging there. And once you start attending classes, it's so easy to talk to your next desk neighbor and just simply make connections. I feel like SCU is the perfect spot for intimate relationships and building strong relationships, honestly.
Awesome. Ricky?
For me, when I eventually got to school on campus in 2022, after everything was lifted, I felt like a really big need for to connect other transfer students who started online and then came in person. So I worked with Tracy Canales on the Transfer Student Association as a secretary, just to kind of rebuild or start that process, just to have a safe space for transfer students from all over the country and all over the stages who are coming into the center. And then I eventually became vice president and just really helped, say, hey, we have a community for transfer students. We're all Hilltoppers. We're here. Let's help each other.
Awesome. So for our students in the audience or watching online, you've gone through this transfer path. What's the single most important piece of advice you would give a student considering transfer to St. Ed's?
My piece of advice would be to keep an open mind. One of the things that has always been sold for years is that by default, state colleges are the least expensive. Well, that may not always be true in every situation, because with the amount of scholarships I received from SEU and also from ACC, I was able to take out a very low amount of student loans. But had I gone another route, I actually would have had to take out more money to pay for expenditures. But as far as scholarships go, always keep an open mind for private education, always keep an open mind as far as asking questions about different schools in your area. Always ask your advisors, which schools would best line up with my degree, what's available in my area, and always consider looking at a private institution. And I'm so glad I did with SEU.
Awesome. Leslie or Ricky?
Yeah, so my advice would be to just ask questions, use your voice, and don't overthink the little stuff. There's always someone willing to help you.
Awesome.
For me, it'd be, and it just goes on in life, nothing is permanent. Sure, you might face an obstacle here, and it may not be the only obstacle, but we can get around it. And having that support system at ACC, having that support system at St. Edward's really shows you that, yes, together we can overcome these challenges and make, our dreams a reality. My dream was to go to St. Edward's, and it happened. So it's possible.
Great advice, as always, when it comes from our students. And I do want to go back to the support and asking questions. And this partnership is in place because both organizations, both institutions are committed to building those communities of love. That's what St. Edward's is all about, and ACC in particular, under your wonderful leadership. So now to wrap it up, I'm gonna ask you to share with us your thoughts about the partnership accomplished at St. Edward's that has been established. Could you tell us how you think it's gonna benefit students as we move forward? Maybe Ricky, you wanna get it started, and then Leslie and Michaela can wrap it up?
Of course, this partnership is gonna really solidify and say, hey, this path is available. Because for me in my time all those years ago, I had to jerry-rig it, a bit. I have to go here, go talk to this person, but having a streamlined pathway to that level of success will help out our students, and it might actually make it less intimidating, say, hey, we actually have a step-by-step rubric here that can help us get from ACC to St. Edward's. So I look forward to the success of this program.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes, this partnership is gonna welcome a lot of new generation students to experience belonging at SEU and just have the feel of an intimate setting, which I think that's what SEU is all about.
What I believe the partnership will do is foster a greater intake of volume from students from Austin Community College into SEU. I also believe that the same amount of community that a lot of students experience at Austin Community College, they will easily transform and find more of their people in their own community at SEU. I know I personally did. From the time I stepped on campus, I knew that it was the campus for me because I could see where everyone really operated like a family. And that's something that's very important to me, and I think it's beautiful that both institutions are really trying to foster that connection, not only within their own campuses, but across campuses. So I think this partnership will be a very, very good thing in the future.
Doesn't it make you proud that we are sharing these students? They are ours. That's fantastic. Please join me in saying thank you to these amazing students from ACC and St. Edward's University.
I feel like I'm so motivated. What do y'all think? Yeah, just motivated? All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Laurie Hart and Dr. Fuentes, for just having the conversation with our students. Michaela, Leslie, Ricardo, thank y'all so much. I think Ricardo said it really great when he talked about streamlining systems, and that's what Accomplish is about. It's about students don't just want to sit and say, I don't know how to do this and there's no one to help me, but when partners come together in a community to build something special so that it helps direct direct students and helps them navigate, and that's what Accomplish is about. When Leslie talked about the people helping her and being supportive in the process, no matter where she turned, someone was there for her. And when Michaela spoke about, she got offers, y'all. Like, I mean, job offers, and she talked about that the name recognition means so much. I don't know about y'all, but most students, and I know when I graduated from college, it was great to be there, but it's even better feeling when you know, whether I'm first generation, no generation, all the generations, that I'm able to build a lasting foundation for my family and those to come after me. So one, could you give our panelists, Dr. Fuentes and Dr. Laurie Hart, another round of applause? And so there is someone in the audience that I did not recognize, and I wanted to apologize because when we talk about the partnerships that we have between our institutions, and we talk about how we love not just our students to success, but our communities to success, it means something when we have those that are a part of our board and our trustees that are supportive of that, and that not only are supportive in words, but show and present and are visible. And I wanted to recognize one of our Board of Trustee members who is here, Trustee Gigi Edwards Bryant. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And so partnership goes beyond just that, but as someone that represents, and from St. Edwards, amazing. All right, and another hand clap. Look, stand up. There are students in the audience, there are students that are coming in from class, there are students that are virtual. I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to make sure that our wonderful St. Edwards partners can get back to their tables so they can speak to people, talk to people, and also get ready to have some students listen about how can they apply to St. Ed's. Also for our students that are interested in how am I going to pay for this, they got ways, y'all, they got ways. And also what it means to live on campus. I want to make sure that you have those times. Eat, be merry, fellowship, and learn everything there is to learn about St. Edwards. Can't wait to see you when you apply, and can't wait to see you walk across the stage at ACC while you're moving on and passing that baton over to St. Ed's. Have a lovely afternoon.